All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everybody, it's me. I am here with Joe Marfolio, as I said we would have. So I'm delivering the goods. Let's start with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so we are getting going. People are filing in. We've got. Let me start off with some latest news items. We've got Joe. We've only got Joe Marfolio here for about an hour, so we're going to have to take advantage of that. Hey everyone! By the way, didn't mean to jump in and be all business. Joe, I think we're getting a little bit of reverb off your speaker. So if you got headphones or something like that, if not, we can find some way to sort it out. And some things I want you to make sure that you know about. I'll just say it at the very beginning of things. Make sure that you know that Greg has got coaching tomorrow at 12 noon. This is your Project J orientation. I'm going to, by the way, walk us a bit through the members area. I haven't done that in a while. I want to talk about all the new things that are going on and all the exciting stuff. But this is, we've got Greg and Fletch's next office hours are scheduled. Greg's next time is September 22nd, which is tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern. And then we've got Fletch, who's up to a lot of no good. You know, that Fletch, he's up to some exciting stuff. I might see if I can jump in on that one. So, well, I always try to get on Greg's when I can too. Tuesday, September 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. And instructions for joining that are going to be on Fletch's coaching page. And then here's the link to join Greg's webinar. Last week's Webby was awesome. I think everybody really enjoyed it. It was dope. And this one's going to be similarly exciting. It's going to be pretty different. Last week we were, talking a lot about SEO. I'll talk some amount about SEO today, especially some things I think that I'd like to make sure that you know, or even if you already know it, I want to bring it back up for you because I've been thinking a lot about things in terms of how to make you even more successful. We're pretty constantly obsessed with the idea of making you more successful. So I've got a few thoughts to share with you on that. And remember, we got give me a hashtag Sunday Fun Day if you're fired up. After this event ends, I am going to keep it to 2 hours because or thereabouts because right there in the beginners group, in the OMG beginners acceleration and support area, Gregory Ortiz is going to be doing Sunday Fun Day, and that's a great opportunity to get your questions answered on PBNs, especially low-cost PBNs. Gregory, I think, is quite up to date with the latest news on things in terms of blog safety, anchor text stuff. Just things that you're going to need to know. SEO, really good geeky SEO questions that you got can go in there. And I don't know if people know this, but Gregory is multi-talented. He's also a graphics designer. So if you have graphics design questions, there's a good chance he'll be able to help you along with those. Oftentimes we get wonderful help from Mike Hayden and Clinton Dixon on those, which is rad. Really so great having those guys around. And so you can also get help from Gregory on that. And of course, you can get your money getting questions answered. The last couple of weeks, Dave Keys has been jumping in on those, which is excellent. Fletch, I saw Fletch in there last week. So Fletch he's here, there, and everywhere. We got Chris Marshall's on this webinar. Might bring him live if I need somebody to talk to if I'm feeling lonely after Joe deserts me, after he after Joe takes off. So long story short, at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, we got Sunday Fun Day, and that's going to be going on in your beginner members area. If you don't have access yet to Sunday Fun Day, you can just, Dietrich's asking right here. You can just ask me. I'll pull it up on a different screen. I'll add you to the beginners Facebook group. So I'm going to add Dietrich right now because he just asked. You can just give me a hashtag Sunday Fun Day if you. I guess that might be confusing. I might, you might just get fired up and spontaneously say Sunday Fun Day. So I guess go ahead and say add me to the group. Hey, Dietrich, go to my Facebook account is out of space. I can't add people anymore. So anybody who needs, if you need to add me on Facebook to get put in the beginners group, go here. And that's going to be my new Facebook profile, which is facebook.com/Icarus. Does anybody know what Icarus is? Anybody? Probably not. Some people do. How many people? Give me a number one if you know what Icarus is. Let's find out. Gregory, did I tell you? Nobody knows who Icarus is. You guys are just clowning around. You guys are thinking of something else. Maybe you're thinking of something else. You may not be clowning around. It's the name of my Dungeons and Dragons character, so there's no way that you knew what it was. But he was really powerful. So it's true. True story. True story. I'll tell you Dungeons and Dragons stories some other day, but he was really powerful. Okay. But anyways, that's where to add me, and then I can put you in to the beginners group. Joe, I squandered 10 minutes of the precious hour that we have with you. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Thank goodness. How many people? Joe has been. Gosh, Joe is like an OMG legend. Give me a number one if you have been personally touched by one of the moves that Joe has made inside of OMG. Could be any time in the last couple of years. Perhaps his, and I'll walk through some of this right now. If we go to, let me show you, Joe is everywhere. If I go into the monetization lesson page, then if we go into the field training, then boom, look at this. Joe Marfolio, and this was really seminal work. Joe, you remember this?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years now.
Yeah.
I think since we did that, huh?
Yeah, we got down and dirty. This was intense, guys. This was really intense. Joe and I did role playing on client getting, and he fired me as a client. it was rough, but no, this was great stuff, and there's a reason we still have it in that first position. Not that there aren't other incredible field trainings and field reports. In fact, we've added 5 more. Well, there's this one with Joe right here, and that's why I want to highlight today. We did one with Daryl Ferguson just recently. Mark Hayway was awesome, dropping bombs. Maria, that was awesome. She did a reveal. She's got a yoga site. It's a face yoga site. By the way, if you can make a full-time income on face yoga, come on, you can make a full-time income on anything. Give me a number one if that makes sense. If you could, actually, let me quickly check through. Now I'm mixing my number ones. I've had people writing in saying that they've learned from Joe. George Paul said yes. Gregory Ortiz said that Joe is an absolute genius at obtaining clients from everywhere. Chris Marshall says Joe's a legend in our lifetime. Scott Schaff is on. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. Scott, I'm so glad you're here. Brian said yes, that he's learned from Scott as well. I think a lot of people have probably been in touch with Joe without even necessarily realizing it. Let me go to another part of the monetization home page. Oh, and Armando, by the way, did this great web design module. It's really sick. And by the way, I wasn't kidding at all about Maria. She's very bright, excellent, up and coming. Just really glad to have her in our area, and it really does show. She really is making a full-time income with face yoga, her and her partner. So it's awesome. Face yoga. I didn't even know that face yoga existed, but that's 2 full-time incomes, and that's awesome. Now, if we go into the launch jacking area, Joe, there's even more from you, which is right here, this launch jacking calendar, which Joe maintains for us. So that's additionally dope. And a lot of people have had success because of that. So now we've got an all new situation with Joe on monetization. And there's been other times. I mean, Joe's appeared on webinars, and he's active in the Facebook group, granting his wisdom. Just been an incredible member of OMG. So if we jump back into the monetization field training area, let's crack this open. It's like opening the vault, Joe. It's like dialing the combination, and click, it opens up. And this is the new stuff. I want to now, before we get into what's included here, Joe and I have worked hard. We've worked for hours together, Joe especially, to get this area together for you. I want to make sure everybody should sign up to this email list right here to get access to updates. Joe's going to be sharing additional wisdom on this subject, and you're just going to want to be on this list. In fact, I'm going to sign up for it right now myself. And it's a double opt-in, right, Joe? So I need to go and confirm. Okay, so then it takes to a nice get response congratulations page. And of course, oh, you probably don't even need a confirmed opt-in, right? Or do you?
No, it's not confirmed opt-in. It's just, yeah, you just put in your email and that's it.
All right, great. So I couldn't recommend enough everybody jump in on this. In addition to all the stuff that you're getting from Joe, he's also agreed to share some updates, insights. He's had some thoughts about some done for you services he might add. So I really recommend that. Really cool. So that's what's going on. Joe, what is going on with this module? I know what's going on with this module. I'll give the very high level here, and then you can drill down into the details. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, great. So what we've got going on here is that one of the ways that Joe's he's had a lot of success with clients, okay? But at the very beginning, very difficult for him. It was painfully difficult for him. Joe's actually, you may know him, if you know him as an OMG, or you may think, oh, Joe's outgoing and extroverted, he's so easy to talk to, and he is, but the thing is, he's not like a natural born salesperson. And in fact, he got his start with internet marketing, trying to do local client consulting, thinking like, man, there's got to be the opportunity to do this. But Joe, it was painful for you. You really did not like doing the sales aspect of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I hated it. Like I'm not an extrovert, and I hated small talk. Getting in front of clients, I never knew what to say, so it was a really tough go for a little while. Now,
ultimately, Joe was able to get good enough to make a full-time income and more. I mean, he's had probably his best month in terms of sales. You're talking about like $100,000. So no small success story there. But Joe, you never forgot that you did not like going out and talking to clients face to face. You at least wanted leverage. If you were going to talk to a prospective client, you wanted the leverage where not just like a personal piece of leverage, not just positioning, which is great. And I definitely think that you should go for having a good, strong positioning. Hey, everybody here, how many people here feel like if you're doing client consulting, and by the way, this is going to be very valuable for both client consulting and for affiliate marketing, so hold on. Chris Marshall, by the way, says loving Joe's new series, which is big because Chris Marshall is actually making quite a bit of money on CPA right now. Scott Schaff says he's glad he's here too. Man, Scott is awesome. Really, really great to see him here. But anyways, it's great to have that positioning and leverage. How many people really do feel it? I was talking to my next door neighbor up front. Maybe I'll mention this after Joe goes, but about like what we do, because he was asking, because David Mills just bought a house from him. And he's like, wow, how did David Mills walk in and just write a check for my house? And I was like, well, it's, do pretty good in business. And he's like, wow, is there really that much money in SEO? And he was kind of perplexed by it. But how many people here really feel like you have an unfair advantage, even an unstoppable advantage? Hey, Dave Keys just jumped in. Give me a number one if you really feel like you have an unfair, unstoppable advantage, and that if you walk into like you may not know yet how to put things to connect all the dots when it comes to clients just yet. You may, but even if you don't, you feel like, you know what, at least I'm walking in with a huge unfair advantage. And once I'm able to refine that and express it, then there you go. Yeah, okay, great. So a lot of people are feeling that way. And if you're not, it's okay. I'm not trying to steamroll anybody. If you're feeling a little shy about it or you're not sure you can put in the number 2, let me know. This isn't just some rah, kick them in the knee thing that I'm saying. I genuinely want to know. So if you have that feeling, and I noticed somebody chimed in, and she's brand new. I think she just joined yesterday. So Candace, you're absolutely in the right place. No worries. We will get you up to speed and get you going in the right direction. A couple of people actually have chimed in, and that's good too. So one of the things that we're going to do on this event is orient you and help you understand the just brutal unfair advantage that you have. And Joe, they do have with Greg Morrison and Jimmy Kelly's SEO, they do have just a brutal unfair advantage because when you tried to sell before you had that, it was not as easy.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. They know that if they're going to get local clients, there really is no competition when it comes to the ranking and the knowledge that they'll have to be able to get whatever is needed done.
Yeah, and somebody said, and I don't want to say her name because it might be because she says I'm shy and terrified of this, but going to figure it out. Well, that's the going to figure it out part of it is great. I don't want to say your name because you're in the group and everything, and maybe you don't want me to say your name, but that's a big part of why we're doing this event today. I actually kind of came into things thinking about that you may be feeling this way. That some people, and that's one of the great things about OMG. We have a wonderful mix of people who are just getting started and just aces. There's so many aces on this webinar right now, making 5 figures per month and even 6 figures per month. I can count at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is that I know of. 6. Gosh, there's a lot of people on this webinar. Let's see. 7. Oh, Maria's on the webinar. Hey, Maria. 8, I think, on this 8. Yep, 9, 10, definitely him. 10. I count at least 10, not including me and Joe. I count at least 10 people in the audience that I personally know are making at least 5 figures per month. So you're surrounded in people that are having success. So it's and that's just this little webinar, and this is by no means like we don't have some big scarcity with this webinar. There's 118 people on right now, so it's not like some huge number. So there's quite a bit of people on this event who are really having a lot of success, and usually there's at least the same amount of people that I don't even know that they're having success because I get new earnings reports every day. So you're surrounded with success. You have an unfair advantage. Now this is what Joe did. Joe, because he was ahead of the game. So Joe had come in to OMG. He'd already had a good amount, like a significant amount of success before he joined us, but he was really looking for a community. So, and of course, taking the SEO to the next level was really exciting for him. So he joined us, and his mind kept working and working on this puzzle because he really wanted to be able to travel the world. You're coming to us from Costa Rica right now. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah. Yep.
So Joe really wanted to travel the world. He wanted to add affiliate income, and he also wanted to make the way his local stuff works to be more like affiliate marketing, or even literally, in some cases, to almost morph it literally into affiliate marketing, CPA offers. Okay, so let me show you an example. Let's jump into My City Guide here for a second. So in your OMG members area, let me just look on the latest news feed. Make sure nothing's blowing up. Making sure everything's going good. Nobody's struggling or any problems. Okay, Sunday fun day. Everything's going good. Great. All right. So if we go over in your Project J or Project X home, then Greg Morrison has got this new incredible series that's over the shoulder, this demonstration new over the shoulder series right here, where it shows you every step in making up this site that I'm about to show you. And then I've got some more stuff here on writing the articles for it, graphics design, setting up the My City SEO page, and so forth. So let's go to Franklin. And Joe, what we're going to learn today, it applies to this situation here.
Oh yeah, it works hand in hand. It'll totally help out your My Guide site in many different ways on City Guide.
Yeah, because let me show you something. So now we're already making money here on the real estate angle. So this site is profitable. We're just rolling out keywords right now. We have several more keywords that Greg and I are going to be rolling out. One of our other clients now wanted to get added to it, so we bumped their price a little bit, and we're adding a page for them. And then we're adding some other stuff to it. But anyways, by the way, you can do My City SEO on your My City Guide site, okay? And the idea, David invented this site, this idea. It's like a local news magazine for your area. In this case, Franklin, Tennessee. It's not a big city, but this could easily be a full-time income or really power your SEO advertising agency. Anyways, long story short, listen, I talked to this real estate agent on the phone. I talked to her for a while. Or not real estate, insurance agent. I like her as a person, as a business person. I don't think that we're going to be the right mesh, Joe. So now what do? I guess I'm stuck. I go to somebody else. I can do that. This is ranked #1 for car insurance, Franklin TN. You say, Joe, Mike, this is valuable real estate, and you are squandering it because you're not using CPA. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, because you could totally you can do a CPA paper call, and then you can even put a form on there, and then get paid for the opt-ins through the CPA networks.
So how does this work? Let's draw this up. I'm going to pull up Snagit here, and let's kind of conceptually draw this up. So first of all, CPA. Can you explain what CPA is and how does it mean? What does it mean? Like what is CPA?
CPA is cost per action, and typically it's if someone puts in an email, like say you have a landing page, they put in an email or put in their phone number or whatever information, they take an action and you get paid for the lead. And a lot of times it's been done with weight loss and different products like that, email submits. But as of late, a lot of these networks are starting to do local stuff. So they're doing like CPA for local stuff like insurance, and they're also doing pay per call, which is PPC. So they're paying per phone call. So you get a tracking number, and every time that someone calls that number, you get paid.
Yeah.
And it's growing more and more, and they're having a lot of different niches that's available.
Okay, so Joe, what you're saying here, and correct me if I'm wrong or help me distinguish. So there are people searching local terms, and millions of them, millions of people every day are searching local terms. Stuff like, they just moved to Franklin, Tennessee, and they want insurance. They just got in trouble with the law, and they need a bail bondsman. They have some legal concerns. They reach out for a lawyer. They have locksmith problems. Problems with that. They need a locksmith. They have they need their carpet cleaned. They you name it. There's stuff going on. They're struggling. Let's talk about one that's really lucrative from a CPA standpoint. They're struggling with. They have a family member who's struggling with some sort of a substance issue, right? Could be alcohol, could be another drug, and they feel like they want a helping hand with that. Okay, how can that turn? Because the traditional approach to client consulting is, okay, so people are searching local terms, right? And they go to Google. They're like, oh, I want information. Let's go to Google. And then what we're doing traditionally as OMGers is we're saying, let's direct them on one way or another to a client. Okay, so maybe we go out and maybe we go and get a client, right? In the case of, let's say the addiction stuff. Let's say you wanted to get a clinic that does rehab or whatever. Okay, but Joe, what you're saying is, hey, this is all well and good, and it's a good angle to go, and you've made a lot of money doing it. But what you can do is you can work with a middleman until you get that client lined up. And that middleman is going to be a CPA network. Am I putting it in a reasonable way? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And one of the things is there's a couple of reasons to do it this way, and I changed my business model a lot over the past year. But when you go to a CPA, first of all, you can scale very easily. So without having a client, and as you're building your sites out, you're still getting paid.
And what the CPA network is going to do, like, you're going to help them. This arrow right here is you're guiding the people searching for local terms. They go through Google, they hit your site and sign up for more information. Maybe they enter their name and phone number, or maybe they enter in their email and phone number, or just their email. But they're going to get some information, and then the CPA network, they're going to pay you, right? They're going to hand you a stack of cash for every single, and it can be substantial. It could be $20 a call, $30 a call, $70 a call. It could be a substantial amount of money, and then they're dealing with the client. That they're going to resell those leads. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's not only the putting in the information, but now they also have phone calls. So they have so you can have a tracking number. So it can just be, you can have a video with a phone number on it.
Right. Right. Correct.
And or a phone number on your site, or you do both of them, and you're getting paid once they make the lead. You get paid, and then you're done.
Okay, great. So there's a few ways we can do it. We can either capture information through, and we'll get into the technology behind how this works, and it's in OMG. But either they're going to give you some code that you put on your site, or else it can be that you're doing this things on a pay-per-call basis. Now, I said earlier I was excited that Scott Schaff was on this event, and I just made Scott an organizer, so hopefully he knows that, and hopefully he hears me, and this isn't kind of coming out of the blue. Scott, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How do I sound?
Oh, God, sexy and confident.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. It's been too long. You make money this way.
I do make money this way. Actually, I have one client. Yeah, one client just alone pays me $10,000 a month.
Wow.
It's a law firm client for exactly this. Absolutely.
Okay, so what you're doing is what Joe just said. Now, at that point, things evolved from it being like you did cut out the middleman in that case. You're ultimately selling per call. So it is ultimately going from people searching for local terms, in this case for legal stuff, going to Google, and then what you're doing is you're putting call tracking. You got a video up or something along those lines with a phone number for people to call, but you're doing things on a per call basis. So in this case, you are the CPA network.
That is exactly correct. And both of my CPA sites, I only have two that I actually outsource. Everything else is clients. And both of them go to one company, and then they pay me for it. And what I offer them isn't just CPA, isn't just, oh, you're getting these leads, but I offer them branding with it because I built the website. I can put their logo, their brand, their name,
so people,
all that on the site.
So the way you're doing it, it's almost like premium, because they're getting kind of premium placement.
Absolutely. Everybody just thinks, wow, where'd this guy come from?
Right.
Or where'd this law firm come from, or whatever. Yeah. And actually, it's funny you mentioned bail bonds earlier, because that's the other one that I dominate.
Right. And that's a significant amount of money for you as well.
Yeah, that one's actually pretty awesome. Just recently, I've been sending leads to this bail bonds agent for I don't know, about 8 or 9 months, and for a monthly fee, a very nice chunk of money. And this individual just contacted me a week ago. sat down, we met, and she says, I want you to SEO my site as well. So now I'm making 3 times what I used to offer, because now she wants to dominate the first page. So she wants her personal site plus my CPA site at the top of Google.
So you told her, you stink and get out of my face, right? Like you
Exactly. I said, get up and walk away.
Smart. Scott didn't say that. It's okay, everybody. It's coming around.
Yeah, I'm just messing. But yeah, it's been pretty awesome. But she's just seen what we've done. Yeah.
And you don't have to worry at all that they are going to stop paying you, because if they do, you're just going to move your business somewhere else.
Oh, it's so easy. I told you the last time I was on, which has been a while. I'm sorry, it's been too long. But I actually fired a client a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. And I basically took on a new client for one of my CPA sites. And this new client is a much better attorney, better quality, and they pay me twice what the other guy was. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, that is a win-win situation. Scott, thanks so much for jumping on.
Sure.
Really, really appreciate you jumping in. Joe,
absolutely.
Joe, that's a little bit of proof of concept. But the idea go ahead.
Well, I was going to say it's exactly what Scott does is exactly along the same lines of what I'm talking about. And the whole thing, the reason why I came up with this CPA, even this module, is because I would get people that would message me and they'd be able to rank their sites, but they were having a hard time getting clients. And so if you rank a site and you're using the CPA and you're getting paid through the network, sometimes you're not going to get paid the full value of that lead. Okay, so there's some stuff in there for like plumbing, they're paying $15, or even there's some lawyer or injury attorneys where they're paying $60 per lead, where if you had a client, you could get 2 to 3 times the amount for that same lead. But it's sometimes it's hard for people to get on the phone, and like we said earlier, I try to make my work and getting clients as easy as possible. So what we did is we took on some CPA leads, we recorded the phone calls on our end, we took those recordings, and then we took them and we went to go get clients. And really all you need is 10, 15 calls where the potential client actually hears somebody closing deals, or getting customers. And you'll be surprised. People will start bidding to get those leads. You don't even have to sell them.
And you explain this in your module.
Yeah, I talk about how I lay it all out in the module. I mean, for this one niche we were in, we went from getting $35 a lead to $70 a lead.
Wow.
And we were closing, we would prospect for somebody, and it's usually probably the first or at most the second phone call we had the lead sold.
Yeah.
And the other thing about it too is when you have a client, you're in the service sector. You're servicing that client, it's a good way to get started. It's a good way to start making 5 figures a month quickly, is to get clients and have them pay you. But being my background is business, I've bought businesses, sold businesses. I've had several businesses in the past, and it was all about the assets. What kind of assets does your business have and have built up? So what I want to do with the online marketing is I want to build my own assets. So when I have lead gen sites and these pay-per-call sites, these are my assets. I could do whatever I want with them. I could send them to an agency. I could send them to a client. I could sell the site. Whatever it is, it's putting value on my business.
Yeah, it is. It is. Let me ask you this. Oh, by the way, I wanted to comment something that Scott actually put in the question box, like right as we were getting started, when I was asking about Joe, and I mentioned that Joe had moved to Costa Rica. Scott actually put in the question box. He put, "I remember when Joe moved to Costa Rica, right when I joined last year. Such an inspiration for me. Thanks, Joe." Yeah, this OMG is a city on a hill. It's a people helping people situation. And sorry, Scott.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, did you say something?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Must have been somebody else. I didn't hear anything.
Okay. No, sounds good. But it really was. Joe served as a beacon for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was so inspirational, to seeing that he's fulfilling his dream with his family of just traveling and moving abroad and being able to do this business anywhere in the world, which at the time, of course, I was in Afghanistan. So it just gave me that much more confidence in knowing that I can do this anywhere.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that you need to be in that town to make that money, but you did it from Afghanistan. Joe's been doing it from Costa Rica,
Yep,
so not true.
exactly.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to point out Fletch does this. We actually have an upcoming module of Fletch. I am so excited to share it. It'll probably be coming the next couple of few weeks, kind of thing. But this is something I really want OMGers, along with your My City Guide site and your kind of your biggish sites that we're going to be doing more and more on. Okay, a little bit more focus on um, sites that are a little bit bigger, not quite the sniper style. The sniper style site can be great, especially if you have a client who just is a low dollar client and they just want to specialize on just a small keyword group. Like I've showed with the Nashville eyelash extensions, that's a great example of a sniper site where we just get in there, get a few keywords, get out, no problem, easy. That's great. But you can also build these biggish sites, and that's where Franklin TN Guide is going, where we're going to have a number of keyword groupings that we're going after. And it's nice because the SEO actually gets easier and easier over time as the site's domain authority builds up. And we do this a bit with Nashville SEO as well, because Nashville SEO, we rank for web design, for national web design, for national advertising agencies, and just get a lot of calls. So let's have a look here. First of all, how many people are getting the main idea of what we're talking here, which is that you're able to build web properties in advance. And by the way, it doesn't even have to be necessarily websites. Okay, you can build Weebly pages, you can build YouTube videos, rank them and their assets, and then you can Greg's created this as an example. We haven't rented out a client for this because we just keep it as an example site. But if I search Philadelphia, let's say boiler repair Philadelphia, then this video is kind of an example, Joe, of the kind of thing you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. You can build out, yeah, you have a video there with a phone number on it, and that can get you started. The thing is you just want to get started. And, I saw some people in the question box also that they're nervous or they're afraid to get they're just nervous about doing it. But the thing is once you get started, you put up a video, you put up a website. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be awesome. But once you get your first little bit of money that comes in, right, whether it be $20, $30, and then maybe you get 60, and you start getting those leads, then you can expand what you're doing, but also that gives you the motivation. But if you get stuck just trying to make it perfect and you never put anything out there, you're never going to experience getting money in and experience the success to have you be able to go and grow.
Let's zoom in detail. I agree. I absolutely agree with what Joe's saying. Let's zoom in in a little bit more detail. Let's just imagine we're just starting with a YouTube video and nothing else, not even a website. Okay, Joe, can we do that? Joe is not going to stop me. Sorry, Joe, did you say something?
Oh, no. Yeah.
All right, so let's do this here. So we've got, so let's say we make a YouTube video, and you can either go into your video supremacy area. I'm actually also going to help Joe. I've pledged to Joe to create, may actually do this later today, right here in your, if I go to the monetization lesson page and click in on this field training and then I click in on Joe's latest module here, I'm actually going to add a video on scripting, on how I script opt-in videos. Okay, so that'll come along with things. I'm a real master at that, and that's something that Joe got me to promise to do. So I plan on doing that shortly. But you also have in your X and Project J Home, you have your video supremacy area down here. And this is if you say, well, why is there so much stuff here? It's because we want you to be covered from every angle. So in this video conversion, video supremacy area, if you really want to know more about that, if you want to know about how to create your own videos, then that's right in there. And but Joe, you can also outsource the creation of videos. Is that correct?
Yeah, and in my series, I show you where to get the videos out, get a lot of the stuff outsourced, from the scripts to whatever you need. And I put some of the people I use in there. There's another fellow that I use, getting his contact info, and that'll be in there shortly. He does my video scripts for $50, but they're really good.
So you're either making, yeah, go ahead.
What I was going to say too is, whatever you do though, always keep the end in mind, meaning that if you're putting a video up or a site up, what's your end goal, right? Is it just to get a few leads in this one city, or is it to scale it up to potentially sell it? Maybe you get it in 20 different cities and you sell a whole lot to a franchise. So what I like to do is, whatever I do, I like to brand it right away. So if I'm doing something on plumbing, then I'm going to create a logo for my company. I'm going to create a name for my company. The logo does not have to be super awesome. I just usually get them off of Fiverr for $5. But what it's doing is it's branding my lead generation sites so that one, I look like a real company. Okay, that's my goals, because I want people not to look at me as a lead gen site, or else you get way more calls if they think you're local. And I want to look to Google like I'm a franchise, because we spent the past probably 4 or 5 months just analyzing franchise sites, and that's kind of what we're modeling a lot of our lead gen sites off, is franchise sites.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, so we were looking at some franchises, and we noticed in some of the niches that these franchise sites were ranking, and it goes along what you said with My City SEO, is that it's because they had so many pages for different cities, and a lot of what was happening was each of the cities, their content was unique, because the franchise owner would put his own information on that page. Then his page would link to his local directories for that city, and link to his social media for that particular city. So it boosted the domain authority of the whole site. So what we're doing is, like, if we're doing a niche and I'm in San Diego, well, we're doing directories for San Diego, we're doing social media sites for San Diego, and it's all connected to the one website.
Great.
And it's all branded. It's all a brand. So.
All right, great. So let's drill down here just a little bit. So let's say that for Franklin TN Guide, let's say we want to make it a part of Red Carpet Guide service, right? Red Carpet Services. All right. So let's say I go to Fiverr.com and I say, hey, I want something made up that's called Red Carpet Services, and and they'll make me a logo, $5. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now when I go, now I've got that, and that's an asset. That image that I created on Fiverr.com is an asset. It cost me $5, but it's created. It's in my pocket. And when I make my YouTube video, I'm going to watermark the video with that Red Carpet Services. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's good. And this is going to go on the YouTube Red Carpet Services channel for, in this case, say Nashville, Tennessee.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Nashville will have its own. Will Nashville have its own channel for Red Carpet Services, or will just Red Carpet Services just have one channel? Is it either way?
So for me, well, you can do it either way. Like, for what you're doing for Nashville, you could have one channel, right? Because the videos you're going to create are going to be pretty different. For me, when I'm doing and again, there's with SEO and
Because
marketing.
you're doing a broader guide in this case. You're not just doing my city guide. You're doing like my nation guide.
Well, and I'm doing niches, right? So I'm in a niche.
So like my nation carpet guide. So it would be red carpet services might be like red carpet cleaning services.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Or something like that. And what I do, and there's a million ways to get to the same end result, right? And that's a big. But what I do is we make videos. So say I make 3 videos, and I'm going to use them in each city. Okay, I make the center of the video. So if the video is 1.5 minutes long, I have a minute portion, okay, which is just my video, no music or anything. Then for each city, I create a separate intro and a separate ending with voice, the voiceovers in there, and then I put a different set of music on it, and for each, so then we turn those 3 videos into whatever we need. Could be 90 videos, but each city will have its own 3 videos that will be unique enough that we don't have a problem with having duplicate videos. If you could follow me, I don't know if you followed that. But.
Yeah, and people can rewind this and watch it again. And we also have the module. Like a lot of what we're doing here is accelerating you. This isn't. It is training, but we're more trying to accelerate you through the process of understanding this stuff because it's so powerful. So in this case, Joe, let's say that you are setting up red carpet cleaning service, and then what red carpet cleaning service does is point people in various cities around the nation, and it points them to good opportunities, like good opportunities to get their carpets clean. So then you have like a Nashville branch of that. Okay, so you get your branding, the red carpet cleaning service. Okay, and you've got that in your pocket. You make a YouTube video. The YouTube video is about quality carpet cleaning, and what you're doing is you have one carpet cleaning video, one kind of middle chunk that's just on the details of carpet cleaning, but it's not branded to Nashville yet. What you're going to do is you're going to be able to make that for Nashville, make it for Memphis, make it for New York City, make it for Miami. You'll be able to make it for every city. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so in that case, I'll do another set of boxes here for us here to kind of explain what Joe's talking about. And by the way, I want you to realize that by getting into details, again, the way that learning works, I'm going to use actually a few boxes here for a couple of reasons. The way learning works is we start with details. Okay, we start with details, and those details help us move in and understand the core concept. And then once we've understood the core concept, then we use details once again to flesh the framework out. Okay, so the first time a child sees a tree, doesn't just immediately coalesce for them, oh, it's a tree. Yes, it has branches and leaves and photosynthesis. No, this is they don't understand that. What they see is a leaf here, a branch there, a piece of bark here, a piece of root, some roots sticking out of the ground, and they also see some things that are not associated with the tree. But anyways, they see some details. Then eventually they might understand that the trunk is kind of the core of the tree. That gives them a framework, and then from there they start understanding how it all connects, branches and roots and leaves, and then they get to school and find out about photosynthesis and whatever. So when you're going through this training right now, if you're new to this is all going to be like, no matter what, and learning always works this way. No matter how simple, how powerful, whatever it is that you're learning, you might be hearing about YouTube videos and PBN links, and you might be hearing about call CPA offers and call tracking, and those are all details that are going to help you get to the core concept of money getting with SEO. Okay, and once you get to that core concept, once it really clicks for you, then you're going to be able to use those details once again to build out a full fleshed out model where you really get what's going on. So I kind of want to point that out there. And we only have a few minutes left with Joe. I want to explain what he's talking about here. He has this right here, this box right here, is kind of the so now this is not. I'm going to now use this for totally different purposes. I'm going to use these 3 boxes for totally different purposes. Before I was using it to explain how learning works. Now I'm going to use it to explain how Joe's making videos. So Joe, what you're doing is this middle box is kind of a explanation video.
Right.
And it's all about, in this case, about carpet cleaning as a whole, like how carpet cleaning works, how quality carpet cleaning works, things to look for, whatever, something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's the meat of the video.
It's the meat of the video. It's about a minute, and then you'll have a shorter part that you'll customize to each city. That's an introduction and an exit. Is that correct?
Right. Exactly.
And then you'll put them into Camtasia or whatever your software, video editing software is. So this will be a custom. We'll have a custom intro and a custom exit. Okay? And the custom intro and the custom exit will say, in this case, let's say Nashville. Nashville carpet cleaning, Nashville carpet cleaning. And then what we're also going to be able to do is put a watermark, which is a which is going to have our phone number in it, and it's going to have our branding in it, and that watermark is going to go throughout the video. It's an image that's going to sit on top and explains what call to action. So watermark that has our branding plus phone number. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, at that point, we're going to stick that on YouTube, that video on YouTube, and we're going to do some sort of search engine optimization to it. We've got lots of methods for SEOing Web 2.0s. For example, in this case, it could just be sending a Fiverr gig to it, like Seawork Services. That's in the last 5 pages of your blueprint. And then we're, in this case, going to rank for carpet cleaning Nashville. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. No, the one last step that I do is I'll change the music kind of on each video too, per city, just to mix it up a little bit. But other than that, that's about it. Yeah, you put that together, and then you rank the video for whatever the keyword is.
Where do you get music?
What's that?
Where do you get music?
I don't know. I have a bunch of music already from some of my, I don't know, but you can get royalty-free music just about anywhere.
Yeah, there's tons of royalty-free music out there. Just type in royalty-free music, and you can get it. Sorry, you can get it very cheap.
Yeah. And then we create a lot of videos with the Sparkle software, and they have like hundreds of musics in there. But
yeah. And this video stuff, again, is not very difficult. In the video supremacy area, I'm quite sure I explained how video editing works. You can also just go to Camtasia, to techsmith.com, and get a full free trial of Camtasia. And they have tutorial videos that'll explain. We're explaining the hard part, okay? This is the hard part. The actual video editing is actually very easy and really actually winds up looking a lot like this. In your video editing screen. If I had a video that I've been editing recently up, I would pull it up and show you. Joe, go ahead.
I was going to say, too, it may, like, if you've never done this before, you may be looking at this and saying, holy crap, how am I going to do this? But it's very easy. It's simple. It's fast. Plus, you can outsource this for very cheap. You can find someone on Odesk. You explain to them what they want. A lot of times, they'll have the music already. You give them the voiceovers, you give them the pieces, and they bang them out.
These video blocks, by the way, we're kind of assuming that they have audio, right? So the explanation video has one set of audio. The custom exit, it should say custom intro, custom exit.
Yeah. So what I do is when I get my voiceover, say I use a guy on Fiverr, he does the main voiceover, and then I tell him, look, I want you to say this city and this, and I give him a list of cities. So he'll do the middle, and then he'll give me 20 intros and 20 exits, and then I just put them all in folders and I have my outsourcer do the rest.
Okay, great. Now, I would typically just do this myself, just so you guys know. Joe's big into outsourcing, which is perfectly understandable. If you're not sure, do it yourself. We have tons of explanation on how to do it yourself. The great thing about what Joe's teaching you is he's like explaining to you as if you were the outsourcer. So, and of course, if you want to outsource it, by all means, but really you can do this. Like all of these steps, really you can do. You've got your video supremacy module. It really explains this stuff, and it'll help you outsource more in the future. So if you're not sure, do it yourself. With everything with OMG, if you're not sure, do it yourself. And then there's certain cases when we tell you, like for example, with a fiber gig is an outsourcing, right? But it's kind of micro outsourcing. It's very limited. $5 get some backlinks. $5 get this image made. That's a good happy medium. Now, if you want to get good at outsourcing, or if you already are good at outsourcing, and that's something that you want to go after, that's fine. Then you're sure and go do it that way. If you're not sure, do it yourself. Okay.
And also too, if you can do it yourself the first time, I mean, you should always try to do it yourself first, no matter what, even if you're outsourcing. That way you know exactly what to tell the outsourcer.
Yeah, really critical. Throughout the OMG process, what Joe is saying is critical to your learning, because even if you are going to outsource, figuring out how to do it yourself to a decent degree, even making your own first logo. You can download Snagit for free. This is what I'm drawing in right now is Snagit. You can download this, a free 30-day trial, and just make your own image. Even if you never use it, get some idea of how it works. You see me doing it right now in this video. I'm making images right and left here, right? And I can also import images. I could say, well, let's take this picture of this Lamborghini and let's make it a part of things, right? So, let's drag in a picture of a Lamborghini. Boom, there it is. I just, drag and drop, and now, the Lamborghini is part of the image. That may not have made a lot of sense to somebody, but just get the Lamborghini out of here for a second. But I can just take an image from the internet and put in Mike's red carpet car cleaning service. And now, even if I don't use this, I've done it, I understand it, just to a decent degree. I save it, to desktop, Mike's car cleaning logo. Okay, and I save it as whatever, a JPEG, save, done. Okay, so now I've made a logo. It may not even be the logo that I use, but at least, just get a decent grasp of this stuff. And remember what we talked about in that learning lesson, because you're gaining, like it's also funny because you can look at that and say, well, Mike, that's not very valuable. Geez, all you did was, you clicked a few things and you did, made this little dinky image, and how can that really be a part? Does it make sense that it could be a little confusing? Mike, how is this a part of a 6-figure per month income? But it is, right? Like, that's the crazy thing about it is this, like what you're seeing right now is a part of my 6-figure per month income, is being able to do a little graphic design here, doing a little bit of video there. Okay. And again, I don't have to be, the greatest, I don't have to be James Cameron, who's a movie maker. I don't have to be a James Cameron level. Maybe he's an awesome video editor. I assume he probably is, right? But I don't have to be James Cameron to do this, Joe. Like, this is attainable stuff. And the crazy thing is, all these little simplistic skills that we're good enough at, all wrapped together to become a 5-figure or 6-figure per month income.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to get it. Yeah, exactly. You just got to do it. Just start doing it. Just do it and get it done. And the way I look at it is my end goal, say, is to, if I'm doing carpet cleaning and I want it in 50 cities, okay, I'm not going to spread myself out and do all 50 cities at once. I'm going to do one city. I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get the YouTube channel right, my opt-ins right, my everything the way I want it. And then once it's the way I want it, then I put it in a system, I scale it up, and for me, I outsource it. I mean, you can do it yourself too, but it's like, but once you get the concept, you know what you're doing, then you can have somebody do it, and that's how you scale and grow. But if you spread yourself too thin right in the beginning, then a lot of times you burn out.
All right, great. And I'm in the background making some coffee, so it's a little bit of noise in the background. So let's go into let's continue on with this explanation before Joe has to go. So we come up with this local branding. We make an image. In this case, we can make it on Fiverr.com. We have our YouTube video that we just talked about how we create that. We stick that video up on YouTube. Remember when we did that video, we added a phone number to it. Now that phone number, we're going to use something like CallFire. I use Fly Number is another example of a service you can use. But there's all these services that will allow us. They'll give us a phone number that we can stick on our YouTube video, and they will allow us to redirect that phone number very easily to any phone that we want. Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, and the key is you want to record the calls, and they got to record it. And there's a program, a new tracking program out there, and it is probably one of the best that I've come across, because what it'll do is it'll track the numbers, record the numbers, it'll create an invoice at the end of the month. You can sign your clients up for prepay or post-pay. It also comes with an opt-in box. So if you're doing lead gen with an opt-in box, it'll automatically, when someone does an email submit, it automatically puts it on the invoice.
And that's it. That's in that service is actually in their members area.
Yeah, it's in there. And so, but there's all different services.
What's it called?
It's called CalZoo.
Okay, CalZoo. Okay, great. So this could be CalZoo or CallFire or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But you just got to get a tracking number that records it and tracks it. I mean, that's really the key.
Okay, so this is how does CalZoo spelled?
KALLZU, I think, and the creator CalZoo, I think like that. It's in there, and then the guy who created the software is actually going to give me a special link for OMG so they can get a month free if they want.
All right, cool. Is that Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, great, got it. All right.
But the key is just you need to get any kind of tracking and recording. As long you got to get the calls recorded.
Okay, now what are we recording? What happens? So somebody goes to they're in Nashville. They watch the Mike's carpet cleaning video that we just talked about, and they say, "Oh, sounds good. I'm down." Okay, so they pick up their phone, they dial 615-555-1212. What happens next?
Okay, so they dial, right, and then if you're sending it to a CPA offer, then you the tracking number records the conversation. Or even if you're running the leads to a client you have already, or you're not even doing leads.
Because that's the crazy thing is you can send this call to a potential client without even telling them that that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. And then
let's talk about this. Let me explain this. So let's go to Google.com, and this is perfectly ethical. In fact, you're just helping them, right? And let's type in Nashville. Whatever, bail bonds, whatever. And it can be anything. So we could forward this call to grumpysbailbonds.com or to freeatlast.com or any of these numbers. Let's say Smiley Bail Bonds or Raider Bail Bonding Company or whatever, and use CalZoo to record those phone calls. Is that correct?
Right, and what you can also do, this is a strategy that I've done in the past, is if you're sending it to, say, Grumpy Bail Bonds, you could put what they call a whisper on the phone call. say you never talked to Grumpy Bail Bonds, but you could put a whisper, just a really short blurb, that a word, like say my company is 3-stage marketing. So right before they pick up the phone, the first thing they hear is 3-stage, and then they hear someone say, "Hey, I'm looking for a bail bondsman." Okay, and so they might get 2, 3, 4 calls like that, and then you call up and say, "Hey, this is Joe from 3-stage marketing. Have you been getting my phone calls?" All right, so they already know that. Oh, they're like, "Oh, you're 3-stage. Those are the calls are coming from you." I mean, that's one way to do it. The other way is, say I have Bob's bail bonds. He's already my client. I'm sending him leads. I got them recorded. I call up Grumpy and they say, "Hey, Grumpy, listen, I want to send you 10 of these leads that my other clients are getting. Would you like the same leads?" We did this in one niche, and some of these guys were, they're closing deals right over the phone, like big jobs over the phone, and you start, once that potential client hears those leads, and they're like, it's a no-brainer for them because they're paying only for phone calls. You're not doing SEO service for them. I mean, they're just paying for the calls that they get. So it's like a done sale.
So let's say Grumpy's doesn't go for it. One of the things that we can do is take the recordings from Grumpy's thing. We export them as an MP3 file, and we say, "Okay, fine." We call up Smiley's, and we say, "Hey,
yeah,
I got 10 phone calls this week for bail bonds. I was sending them to Grumpy's, and but I'm actually I can direct them anywhere, and I'm going to also be contacting Radar and All Nights Bonding, and basically what I want is $100 a call for these calls, or I want $50 a call, or whatever it is that you want. But I want to give you a sample. Here are the recordings of them, and if this is the kind of thing that you want, then sign on the dotted line, and I'll start sending you calls, and you can start paying me per call."
Yeah, exactly. And actually we actually did exactly that. Is we were sending the calls to somebody, and they didn't want to buy them, so we took the recordings and sold them to somebody else. And yeah, so that's the thing, is once you have your own assets, you have those recorded calls, you're gonna sell them. You're not gonna sell them.
Now, the other thing that we can do here is, instead of sending it to Grumpy's, we could be sending this to one of the CPA companies that you outline in your video series.
Right. Yeah. And the way the CPA thing is it's just a way to get going. Whereas you can send the calls right to, say, there's window installers, and so say that's your niche. So you're sending those leads right to the CPA, and you're collecting money, and you're collecting recorded calls, and then at your leisure, or you can hire a sales guy like I did, and you just have them go out and they can sell the calls for you for 2-3 times what the CPA is paying for you. But getting that money first off from the CPA, it's nice because you're getting paid for the work that you're doing, and it just helps you to get over your obstacles and not get burnt out. Because I think a lot of people, they tend to sometimes get burnt out because they put a lot of effort into it, and right before they're about to get the results, they stop.
Right.
So this is a way they can get results right away.
Got it. Okay, so we could have been making money all the way along, correct? By selling window installation. There's, one of the things that you outline in the video is how to do window installation as a CPA service. And then we could be selling leads to Acme window installation through CPA, but then we can say, hey, Champion Windows, hey, Window World of Nashville, hey, see, Zen Windows is another one right here. Guys, I got these leads coming in. Here's some samples of them. Here's some recorded phone calls that I recorded using Calzoo. You want to do business. And if they don't want to, who cares? You're making money on this anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And all the calls, all the softwares have the option that you click that says this phone call is being recorded. So the parties, they know that the phone call is being recorded when it's recorded.
Now someone's asking, in some states, both parties need to agree to be recorded. Yes. Yeah, just look that up. There's just a few, just a handful. California is one of them. I think Washington, D.C. is one of them. Just look it up. Just look it up. And if it is going to be recorded, just include a little thing that says this call be recorded. Or just do it somewhere else. It just doesn't matter. It's perfectly fine. Also, remember, the FBI isn't going to come in a helicopter and raid you if you record a phone. You got to use a little bit of common sense when it comes to this.
And the whole thing with this stuff is you have to think outside the box a little bit and work it for your situation. This is just something that's worked for me. It's something I've done. But you take it, you make it your own, and it's just ways to work around different issues and different problems.
Now we can do this with more than just YouTube videos. We can do this with websites. I just wanted to show this. This is the full model here, right? Like what we've got laid out here will fully work and can be a full-time income. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and yeah, it could be a full-time income, no problem.
And as Scott's shown, Scott's making 5 figures per month doing just this as well. So this is not you could say well, maybe I've heard of something like this somewhere else. But what's different about OMG is we have real people really showing it right now. This is real, transparent. Give me a hashtag transparency, because I think this is dope. If you want to, do whatever you want to do. But I'm going to do a hashtag transparency, right there in the transparency. Let's see if I can spell it right. All right, I did a hashtag transparency in the Facebook group because I think it really matters. We made a specific decision in OMG, you're using the law of attraction, to be transparent, to go for transparency instead of to go for theory or what sounds good. Oh, I heard this other guy's making money, and we're getting a lot of it in the question box. But I'd love to see it in the public Facebook group. I think that transparency really matters. I think it's an edge that OMGers get, and that's what we're getting here with Joe. Is he's coming out and he's Joe, this isn't theory. You're making boatloads of money this way and have been for a long time.
Yeah, this is my model now. I don't really I've taken on 1 or 2 clients here and there, but I don't even take them on anymore. I don't search for them. It's all lead gen. It's all branding my own properties. And like I told you before, we're actually working on starting a franchise from one of our lead gen sites. So it's
So what you're trying to tell me is that this is where the money's being made right now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it takes the stress off for me even having clients, because I'm ranking the properties. I get paid as they rank. If they fall, I'm not getting paid. I got to get them up. It's not that they fell 2 spots and now the guy's calling me, why isn't this thing my site ranking anymore? It's it's all up to me. And one thing I want to add too about this call tracking is everyone should be tracking their calls, whether you're doing this or you have clients, because I've had in the past clients call me and be like, hey, I'm not getting any phone calls. And I'll be like, well, I know they're ranked right, so I'm like, maybe it's conversion or something. So we put tracking numbers on their site, and it turned out they were getting phone calls, and their secretary was rude.
We had this with a restaurant, and it was ridiculous. They said that we weren't making the money, and we listened in on the calls, and it was incredible. We were selling. They were selling essentially high-end catering services. And we were making them thousands of dollars a month. And we found out, and we looked in, and I came in, and I was like, long story short, we wound up firing them and turning that stuff over to somebody else who could appreciate us.
Exactly. And those calls are your proof, though. Those calls are what's that's telling the tale.
Now, Candace is asking. She says, "It's an awesome model. I totally get it, but how to get the videos to page 1 in order to get those phone calls and leads?" You know what, Candace? It's the power of positive thinking. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking. No, that's great. I'm not mocking you, but I always just make jokes. Candace is new, so I don't want her to think I'm mocking her, because I'm absolutely not. No, it's OMG SEO. OMG. That's how. You have in your blueprint, in your OMG blueprint, you have just the last 5 pages of your blueprint, we have Jimmy Kelly. Jimmy wrote up a quick and dirty domain authority stacking guide, and it's right in there. So like the last 5 pages of your blueprint alone will explain how to do link getting for. And somebody asked me, I think it was Anthony, asked me, what's a Web 2.0? Web 2.0 are all these sites where the content is created by users out there, like Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter, Tumblr, Reddit, all those, Zillow, all those are Web 2.0s. And we can we have different rules for them for SEO because they have very high domain authority. So we can send, far lower quality links to those pages without any fear, or with very little fear. You also use your PBN links, of course. No question, you can use your PBN links as well. So it's just answering a couple. A lot of people like the power of positive thinking. Okay, great. So notice I didn't leave that out of the model. And this is one of the things that we do with OMG is, we really endeavor to connect all the dots, right? There's some people that'll teach this stuff and they'll just wave their hand at SEO. So, just outsource it, or, just do this. It's easy. Well, it's not. It's not easy. That's why we have Greg Morrison, the guy who I call the one-man gang. And that's why we have Jimmy Kelly, hammering on this stuff and hammering on it. I mean, these guys are junkies. They're data junkies. And they get in there and they figure it out. And so we don't wave our hand at it. But then once we have the SEO down, we want to have the cutting edge, exact correct way, the exact correct way where the money's being made right now. Okay? That's what we want. We want you to know where the money's being made right now because the SEO is so powerful. Joe, you stopped worrying about SEO when you joined us. Now you just figure out how to leverage it.
Right, just how to leverage it, because if there's an update or a problem, I know Greg is on it. And the thing what's great about that is I could make this little training, and I don't need to go into really too heavy in the web design or how to rank or anything else because it's all in OMG already. So I mean everything's there. Yeah. To make this strategy work. Yeah. No, and Joe, we really appreciate you paying it forward. Can I get a hashtag pay it forward? That's a big thing that Cotton Grammar has been advocating. And I think it's something that's already inside of OMG. But I'd love to see that in the OMG and HB Team Facebook group. Pay it forward. That's what Joe's doing right now. Joe's paying it forward, and you've seen it. This is not new for Joe. Joe has been, OMG is not brand new. I mean, we've been around for 2 years at this point, and Joe has been one of the guys, who defines City on a Hill, who defines what it is to pay it forward, and so I really appreciate Joseph Marfolio, and I'm gonna. Yeah, well, thanks a lot. And too, for myself, I mean, I get inspiration from everyone else too. I mean, even though I've done a lot and I do a lot, I mean, hearing everyone's success story, even Scott, I remember when he was in Afghanistan, and making money. I mean, it's an inspiration for me also. It's a, so it's a whole community. You kind of, there's energy there, and if you give into it, you get the energy back. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Give me the number one, just in the question box. Give me the number one if, obviously, you're on this webinar right now with us and this Webby. When you joined OMG, you probably heard us say that, hey, it's a city on a hill. It's something really special. If we've really exceeded what you thought was possible, even just today, give me the number one. Like if you're like, maybe you joined recently, or maybe it was a year ago, or maybe it was 6 months ago, and you're like, no, it couldn't be as good as they're saying. It just couldn't be. Joe and I were talking late the other night. I don't remember when it was, but it was recently. And Joe was saying, that so much of what was great for it is what he's talking about here is that, the city on a hill culture. It's a very big deal to us. David Mills
and with Greg built OMG based on the laws of attraction. Of course, it's the laws of attraction being a subset of the law of implication, which David teaches, but a very important subset of it. And I really visualize, and I'll just show it to you. I was building a vision board recently, and I have my reasons, which will kind of probably make a lot of sense to people. And I have this little picture, and this is really like in my head all the time. I mean, when I'm lying down, if my mind's racing, or if I start thinking something negative, I'll just start thinking about this city and the individuals here that are a part of it, and what the city's like, and how it's just this great place where friends are coming together in Providence, and what that would look like, and being there with my friends, with you, with my wife, just having it be this wonderful place. So I take this very seriously, and I put a lot of emotion into it. And it's there's a reason why OMGers are having like along the lines of 50 times the success of another program, another of the better programs that might be out there. It's not some straw man. I'm not saying it's 50 times success of some crappy WSO ebook that got put out there. I mean, it's like 50 times the success of like the quote unquote leading top coaching program that's out there, and by far. I mean, and 50 is conservative. So it's a fun time that we have here. Joe, you apportioned us an hour, and we've gone over to an hour and 20 minutes. I know we're keeping you away from your family. Did you want to wrap up with anything, just for people to know? Want to put the word out to anybody about anything?
Yeah. I mean, I got to run, but here's the thing: is it's like you said, it's that vision is so important. When I first started, I struggled. And for me, my turning point was I was at an event and there were people up talking, and I told the guy who ran the event, I said, in 3 months I'm going to be up there talking, and I did. I went from making no money, losing all my money, to making 100 grand in 1 month, but it was because I set the vision that I'm going to do this one thing. I'm going to do local. I'm not going to do affiliate. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this one thing, and I have blinders on, and I just focused it. So if you're out there, start one thing. If you're starting my city guy, do that. And if you're going to do lead gen, do that. But don't do 100 different things. Do one thing, and everything you need to succeed is in OMG. Everything's there. So and you'll make it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I love that concept. And remember, right here. So let me draw a map here. So this is your OMG area. Either Project J or Project X. Go to the monetization lead page. Go to the field training. Awesome stuff in here, by the way. And there's much more just rich, valuable, just juicy, good stuff in here. But anyways. Click in on Joe's latest module, and make sure to fill in your email address right here, because you're going to get invaluable updates from Joe. Joe, I just thank you so much. Thank you. If we could get, we have 140 people live right now, 141 people live. So I'd love to see 141 thank you Joes right in the Facebook group. Log into the top of the OMG NHB team. I guess 140. Because Joe, I guess it'd be a little weird for Joe to thank himself. Or Joe, you can, if you want to. If you want to thank yourself. Thanks, Joe. I'm sure there's a lot of people in your life feeling very grateful. So I'd love to see 140. Thank you, Joe. And it's Joseph Marfolio if you're having trouble finding him.
Thank you, Joe. Love you, buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. That was Scott Schaff.
Thank you, Scott, for being Scott.
No, you're a true inspiration, bud, and I love what you just said. And it's key. You just spoke the gospel right there. OMG has so many amazing things that you can do. The training is fantastic, but seriously, focus on one. Don't have that shiny object syndrome. Because it can be exciting, but just do one, like you said. I love that. Just focus on one and be the best at it.
Awesome. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So,
All right, Mike, I gotta roll.
Joe,
With Dad right now.
thanks so much. Appreciate you, and the thank yous are rolling in for Joe. So what I'm going to do here is
Hey, Mike, did we lose you, bud?
I was talking for like 20 seconds. How? Sorry about that.
I kind of figured you were.
No, and by the way, if Scott hadn't been on, I probably just would have gone on for like 20 minutes there, and people would have been like, "Mike, what's going on?" dot dot dot. So Scott saved us from near catastrophe. I was dropping bombs. I was telling you wonderful, incredible secrets.
I'm sure it was.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, so what I want to do is what I was saying is that what I want to do is back the bus up a little bit here, and I want to tell you about a conversation I was having with my neighbor just minutes before this event began. We've got in about a half an hour, we're going to be starting Sunday Fun Day in your. Oh, and let me bring Gregory Ortiz live. Let me grab Gregory. Gregory, where are you? There we go. Make Gregory an organizer. Because we're going to be starting Sunday Fun Day in just a minute. And I want to talk about what's going on with OMG. I want to talk about what's going on with SEO and why this is such an incredible opportunity. And I think that this can be valuable whether you're brand new or whether you're already an ace or somewhere in between. I think that I want to share some perspective. I hope it's valuable to you. More and more, David Mills and I want you to know how we created OMG, and the kind of the mental architecture of it, or the even like kind of the metaphysical architecture, like what was going on in our heads and the conversations. If I were to show you, let me just show you something. I think that this is significant. So there's been a lot of talk recently. I'm not gussied up like I have been on the last few webinars. I'm a little bit more casual today, but I'm going to pull up my photo booth here. And I don't know what things look like behind me or how this is going to come off. I may need to turn. Oh, it's all right. Button up a little bit there. All right. Sorry, ladies. Didn't mean to stop too many hearts. Okay. So I want to show you something. This is it's still, don't worry, still the iPhone 5. This is not one of these iPhone 6 moments. So let me see how well you can see that. Can you guys see where what the phone calls are?
Yeah, Mike, we can see them.
And what do they say, Gregory?
Looks like David every other call, pretty much.
Not every other call, every call. Every once in a while, I get a random phone number, and that's the extent of them. Those are typically 1 hour to 2 hour phone calls. And David and I live down the street from each other. Like, we live 5 houses away from each other, so we also talk to each other a fair amount. This is my bat phone. Okay, the only 2 people in the world, I guess 3. My yeah, little picture in the background there. I'm not going to show that, but this phone. Pull that back up. This phone here, only 3 people in the world have this phone number. It's David Mills, Greg Morrison, and my wife. And then this is my other phone. Okay, and this is the phone number that that I do normal phone calls on. Now this also has a hotspot, so that lets me go on the internet if something happens to my internet connection or something like that. I'm gonna close this window here. And the reason why is because I want to be able to have me and David Mills have talked 2 hours a day on average or more every day for about the last 10 years. And sometimes more, rarely a little bit less. And we're always talking about strategy. Okay, that's always the center. We'll share some stuff like, oh, I just bought a Bentley, and then David talked me. Well, David bought a Bentley, and he talked me into buying a Bentley and all that stuff. But so we'll talk about it. But even then, we're talking strategically. What's the best car to get, or this or that? Okay. So the reason why I say that is it's very intentional. I will see stuff go on that is not intentional, that is not planned, that isn't under David's watchful eye when it comes to planning all the time, and it will just not be as successful. Okay, it will just not be as successful as it could have been if it was well planned, if it was planned the way that David plans it. And then we just have this incredible success, this incredible successful community, and so forth. And even choosing SEO for the basis of OMG, that was intentional, right? That was intentional. We went out, and it took us years to find Greg in the first place. We went through several people who are not Greg in the first place, who didn't have the wherewithal to stay on top of the Google updates, who weren't a great teacher, who weren't passionate, who didn't have the right moral chemistry with us, and so forth. And so what I'm doing, I'm making an argument that we've at least worked very hard at this. Do you feel like I've made that argument that we've at least worked very hard at this? You saw my phone. I didn't set this up, right? Like my phone, oh, let me do a bunch of phone calls to David over the last few days, or delete the non-phone calls. Like it's very. I want to know if I've made the case to you. And give me the number one if I've made the case to you that and you just say two if not, or just be silent if not. So it's very intentional. Okay, very, very, very much intentional. And one of the things is we built OMG around SEO, and we over time we're expanding it. Right now we have a great pay-per-click module with Mike Swanson, and for getting traffic that way. And over time we'll point you to Hung Lee, for example, has just recently shared a wonderful module on using Facebook traffic to get clients. So we're not against things that are not SEO, and over time we'll continue to expand things. But I want you to know it is intentional. We make these decisions, and let's get into why David Mills and I chose Google. Also, just give me a hashtag fun in the Facebook group if you're having a good time, because I want to make sure. I don't want to bore anybody. This is the fastest 2 hours of acceleration, maybe. A little Rush Limbaugh joke there. Anyways, all right. So okay. So let's talk about why SEO. So I'm talking to my neighbor, and David Mills just bought his house, paid cash on it, and he was like, wow, it was really lucky that he did that, because they had saved like 3 months worth of mortgage while they were trying to sell it, and the 3 months was up. And he was saying to his wife, to Brittany, he was like, oh, she's like, honey, what are we going to do? I don't know if she said honey, but you get my point. What are we going to do? And he told me, he's like, I don't know what we're going to do. And the next day, David called and came in and said, yeah, I'll buy your house. He just came in, said, I'll pay cash for it. Here's how much I'll pay. And then that was it. And that's it. He wrote him a check, or made a cashier's check up. And so I'm talking to Justin, and Justin says to me very understandably, he's like, so this SEO thing that's my neighbor, is Justin, must be going pretty good for you. And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, it is. It is going. It's going good for us, and it's also going really good for our members. And what he said is, gee whiz, how does that all happen? Because how is it that some big competitor from out there doesn't just step in and squish you like a bug? Like you're just two guys walking around. Like how do you just not have competition squish you? And I said, well, that's very understandable. But we've been doing this. I've been doing SEO since 1998. And there's never been a time when a one-man gang couldn't step in and really make waves. Couldn't really come in and really have a lot of success. And Why? Why is that? Let's get into what's going on for Google. Like what's going on for Google, and let's get into some of the details of this. All right, so I'm going to pull up, and I'm just generally going to talk to you for about 20 minutes, and then we'll start Sunday Fun Day. I'm kind of at the portion of our show where I'm kind of just looking to talk to people. Just pretty fun for me. You know, if you don't want to talk to me about this stuff, just go and do something else. No problem, no worries. But even if you're an ace, I think that having perspective on what we're doing and how we're doing it, you know, could potentially be valuable. So I'm going to grab a picture here and throw it in here. And so this is Google, right? And what's going on with them? What's going on with them? Now, Google means one with 100 zeros, okay? So a million is one with 6 zeros. A billion is one with 9 zeros. Just a lot of zeros. Why did they name it that? That's quite an audacious name, Google. Geez, it's a big number, right? It's a big number. Why did they pick that? I don't know. I don't know why they picked it, but I'll tell you that they have a very powerful thing at their disposal. This search engine that they've created. It's called a search engine. And I'm going to pull up something here for you. Street Journal, Peter Thiel. I posted this in the Facebook group for list building. So I pulled up on Google Wall Street Journal Peter Thiel, and Peter he's the former CEO of PayPal, and oh goodness, they're just not going to let me in. Well, you can probably get to this. You can probably get to this without shoot. Hopefully, you can get to this article without logging into Wall Street Journal. But anyways, long story short.
By the way,
what's that?
I love that article, by the way, after you sent it to me.
Yeah, it's a good article. So basically, here's what he says. You don't even have to read the article. I'll just tell you what he says. He says, look, Google's really cool, is what he says. He says the average U.S. airline charges $137 per ticket. Let me ask our audience here really quickly, how much profit do they make per ticket on average? Just quick guesses. Quick guesses, just lightning round, just pump them right into the question box, and let's see what people have to say. Just quick like a light. Cynthia says $25. Christina says $100. Daryl says 10%. Eric says 3%. George says 7%. $30. James says $50. Bob says, Melvin says 300. Melvin. They're charging $137 and they're making $300. Maybe with the upsells and stuff. I guess so. Okay, fine. I'm not going to try to but just explain what you mean by 300. It's $137 per ticket. Shiv says $50. Steve says $30. Joanne says 50%. Evelyn says $60. Mike Hill says $10. 5%. Harlan says 25. Adrian says. John says 50. Brian says 40. Candace says 2%. Leonardo says $20. Gary Johnson says $39. Tom Owens says 0. Let's keep that in mind. Keith Freeburn says 12%. Christina Crowley says or 0. Melvin says LOL. 5 says Steve. 20% says Stephanie. Daniel says 70%. Nick says 3%. 8 says Brian. Dave McCormick says 30. Dave Key says $100 profit per ticket. Chris Marshall says a few cents. A few cents. Let's bring Chris live. Let's bring Chris live. It's the closest guess so far. All right, so Chris, when you come live, when your microphone's hot, just speak out. Chris, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Why did you say a few cents? Did you read the article?
Yeah.
Well,
beaten.
All right. It's 37 cents. 37 cents profit. 0.37 cents. Angel says, I was close. Okay. What percentage profit does Google make? Okay. We all know Google's making $6 billion per month, something like that in ad spend. James says, I meant 30 cents, not $30. That's really funny. John says, volume. Yeah, there's this there was this old Saturday Night Live skit where I think it was Kevin Nealon, who's like has this new revolutionary bank, and what they do is they make change. So he's like, you bring us $1, we can give you 4 quarters, we can give you 20 nickels, we can give you 100 pennies, right? You bring us a $20, we can give you a 5, a 10, and 5 ones. We can do all of that. And then at the end of the commercial, he says, obviously there's no markup, right? And he says, people say we're crazy. How can we do it? The answer is volume. All right. Of course, it's a joke because a bunch of volume on zero profit is still basically zero, right? Or very little. Google, according to Peter Thiel in this article, he says that Google is worth more than all of the major, all the U.S. airlines all put together times 3. Okay, so but what's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on is that Google has this service monopoly going on. They have a monopoly on something extremely valuable. Okay, give me the number one if that makes sense. That's why Google is making money, and the airlines, really, at the end of the day, they're just an airline. There's not much unique positioning. Southwest a little bit, and Southwest, by the way, then is much more profitable than the other airlines. Okay, why do I say this? Well, whatever monopoly Google has extends to you. Does that make sense? Just by the virtue of, like, if you have the ability to generally get Gregory, you're still there, correct?
Yes, Mike, I'm still here.
There was something that you said that always made me laugh. What is it that you told your coworkers? And I'm putting you a little bit on the spot. I know what I'm thinking of. But what is it that you tell your coworkers that you do when they're like, "Man, how are you making all this money?"
I usually tell them one of 2 different things. It's either I control the internet, I tell Google what to do, which is essentially the same thing.
Okay, now, and I think that he's saying that like a little bit tongue in cheek, but it's not that far off. And what I want you to realize is that what we do is we really try to understand Google. We really just don't fight them. We're not resisting Google. We're not like we're just not. We just don't resist Google at all. We just try to work with them. Now, again, let's think about this from the standpoint of the law of attraction. Okay, what is Google focused on? Do you really think that Google is like when the CEO is thinking about what he wants? Where's their money coming from? It's not really directly coming from squashing, let's say, your business or somebody else's SEO business. Does that make sense? It just doesn't. Like, let me put it this way. People think that Google focuses on their pay-per-click advertisements, okay? And that makes a decent amount of sense because those pay-per-click advertisements, which are these ones right here, I'll pull that up just in case, just to make sure we're all on the same page here. That's these ads. This is where Google's making $6 billion per month from, is people clicking on these ads here. And whenever somebody clicks on them, Google immediately is credited and will charge their client for, it could be $2 per click, it could be $50 per click, it could be $100 per click. It just depends on the search term. Okay. Some of the keywords that Scott Schaff is ranking for probably be $100 a click. Okay. So, or it could be like big volume, like there's all kinds of stuff. Okay, so that's how Google's making money. But do you really think that TV networks like Fox or ABC, do you think that they really sit around focusing on Toyota advertising or on Pepsi advertising? I mean, really, their advertising wing of Fox can't be that big, right? Because what's really going, it's not like like if they come up with more clever advertising moves that they're going to make more money. That just doesn't make sense. Like somebody could found a new TV network and say, we are all advertisements and that's what we're about. It wouldn't go anywhere. It would just be kind of ridiculous. So what do they have to focus on? What does ABC and NBC and Fox have to focus on? And I don't mean from a political agenda. I mean, what I mean is just from a business standpoint. From a business standpoint, what are they? Yeah, Alvern says content. Yeah, she's right. Content, right? Josh, yeah, content, quality content. All right. Now, content may not be the exact perfect word, but it's reasonable. I think I know what you mean. They're focusing on The Bachelor. If you're ABC, you're focusing on The Bachelor, on Mentalist, on the TV show The Mentalist, on your NFL football deal, whatever, right? But why do the networks pay billions of dollars to the NFL to carry their TV show, to carry their football games? Why? Billions of dollars. Let's look it up. How much do the networks pay the NFL? Right here. Look at this. From 2014 to 2022, the same networks will pay $39.6 billion to the NFL to carry their football games. $39.6 billion in a 8-year span to the NFL. $1 billion. Why? Why are they going to pay $40 billion to the NFL? Because they like the NFL? Because they're football fans? Why? I have no answers right now. Right, it brings a huge audience in. The biggest TV shows every year are football games in America. And probably around the world, different kind of football, right? Chris, you're from the UK. Is broadcasting soccer games, what we call soccer in America, is that small business? You
mean proper football, right?
Yes, proper football. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for educating us. Is the broadcast rights to show Manchester United games, to show Arsenal games, is that $10? Or is it big money?
It's a lot of $10, is yeah.
Yeah. Because those are probably some of the most viewed, if not the most viewed, TV shows in England, in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the World Cup, I think Dave Keys has just said the same thing, actually. The World Cup is absolutely huge globally, isn't it? It's
huge.
Even America put out a good team now, don't they?
we doing our best. So here's the thing is, the focus then of Google, is Google so different that they're going to just completely focus on their advertisements? No, they have to focus on the free listings they're returning on the organic search. That's where all their focus is. You mean number one, if that makes sense, it must be true. It must be true. Okay? So now, what do they want then? They want what they want. Does it make sense that Google then wants what it wants? Sorry, that may be a little bit of a side tangent thing, but I really want you to get this, because this is how we built OMG, and this is the power that's this is the wind at your sails, because we built it right. You take a TV show like Seinfeld, right, which is a very, very popular TV show on NBC, American NBC network. They had another show called Friends, very popular shows. They were paying the cast of Friends $1 million per episode towards the end. All six, of the main cast, $1 million per episode per each of these six people. Why? By the way that other people, the way that the gurus talk about Google, you would think that by the same logic that the guru guys, the ones that are just like SEO is dead, right? If the guru guys come out and say, oh, SEO is dead, Google hates SEO, Google wants to smash down SEO, well, it just makes no sense. It's so ludicrous because do you think that if Jerry Seinfeld came back to NBC and said, hey, you made billions of dollars on me, I've got a new idea for a TV show, do you think they'd be like, screw you, get out of here? Right? There's the door. It's just ridiculous, right? Do you think that if the makers of Friends, the producers of Friends, or some of the stars of Friends, came out with another show, that NBC would be like, screw you, right? If the NFL expanded their schedule from 16 games to 18 games, do you think that the networks would say, oh, we're not going to cover those games? No, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So what Google is focused on is returning results that get people focused on Google and keep people focused on Google. And that includes not just a good-looking website that's important, okay? Not just a topical website that is important, but it also includes a properly promoted website. And how do we promote websites? How do we promote? What's the number one way to promote a website, right? So if it was a TV show, doesn't Jennifer Aniston, if she's promoting Friends, doesn't she go on? She's one of the stars of Friends. Doesn't she go on the talk shows and do things to promote her show? Don't NFL players, NFL football players, or Chris, if one of the stars of Manchester United wants to go on a TV show, people are going to watch it, right? He'll go around promoting Manchester United.
Definitely.
Right? So it's a product that they're promoting. They promote it. Chris, how do you promote your websites?
Me, I send a lot of backlinks to them and get them on Google.
Now, you told me it was the power of positive thinking. Now I feel betrayed.
Well, yeah, a bit of black magic, yeah.
No, it's backlinks, right? You're sending Greg's primary formula, right? Three things. Three things. What are the three things, folks? Backlinks. Now we're finally back to SEO after all this talk. I said no SEO, but we're back to SEO. What are the three things? Chris, what are the three things that Greg focuses on?
Backlinks, and backlinks, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But what about backlinks?
Quality content.
So yeah. I'll get you started. Anchors. What else?
Diversity.
Anchor diversity, you mean?
It's a what? Sorry,
anchors, URLs, and where your links are coming from. This is it.
Yeah.
Okay? This is the primary focus. What is your anchor text? What are your URLs? And where are your links coming from? Now, the where is going to be predicated on the website. Like if we're ranking NashvilleSEO.org, the where is going to be exclusively from PBNs and Web 2.0 links, in most cases. Okay? So YouTube will link back to it, so forth. Now, if we're ranking a video or if we're ranking a Facebook page or something like that, the where can be anything. It can be spam links, it can be from Fiverr gigs, SE Nuke, anything. It's fine. What's the other one? GSA. All right. And then we're going to focus on our URLs and what the anchor text is. Okay? I know I kind of went around the loop, but give me the number one if it's making a little bit more sense to you, why it is that you have, at the end of the day, an unfair or even unfair or even unstoppable advantage. Okay? It's an unfair or even unstoppable advantage that you have at your disposal. And then, obviously, not just because of SEO, but also, we show you how to use the SEO. I just thought, just kind of a fun moment here. So if you really got it, if you love it, if you're into it, head over to Facebook and head over to our main thread and give me a hashtag unstoppable or a hashtag, either hashtag or unfair or hashtag unstoppable or hashtag advantage. Give me something like that. I'm going to say hashtag unstoppable advantage. Yeah. All right, great. And that's how we're going to close out the event today. Gregory.
Yes, sir.
Sunday Fun Day?
My favorite day of the week.
Favorite day of the week. What kind of questions can people ask you about?
Anything that they would like, other than investing advice on the stock market, because I'll just make you lose all your money. But other than that, everything SEO related, web design related, graphic design, everything else goes.
Okay, great. And we very often have other people jump in on this. Chris Marshall, I want to thank you because I've seen you jump in on Sunday Fun Day answering some questions. Really appreciate that.
If Greg's really slow, if he's having a bad day, I get to a question occasionally.
Well, thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
And Fletch has been jumping in on those. Let me see if Fletch is still live. I saw Fletch earlier. Let's see if he's still live on the event.
I spoke to Dave Keys earlier. I believe he's still going to be in on it as well today.
So lucky. Yeah, I think Fletch took off. But anyways, although Fletch still may weigh in on the, he may still weigh in on things. Everybody remember, we've got tomorrow, Greg Morrison, the one-man gang has office hours at 12 noon, and Fletch has office hours at 12 noon Eastern, and Fletch has office hours at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. So listen, we're having so much fun here. We're having so much fun. This is cool stuff. We have cool stuff to come. Hung Lee actually has something really exciting that we're going to be sharing in the near future, very near future. Some more cool stuff on client getting. Other stuff's coming out. It's all happening. Greg just put 2 new videos in OMG. One is on stringing anchor text, brand new innovation. Get in on that. And another one on kind of a more concise video to explain what's going on with the PBND indexing that we did last week. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. It's so awesome. How dope is this? I don't know. I just think it's, awesome.
It's absolutely amazing. It's kind of like I told you before. Dave Keys and I were just speaking about OMG in general and how great the community is, and you don't really find this anywhere else. It's just amazing.
Well, you're definitely a part of that, Gregory. So is Dave Keys. Chris, thanks for jumping on. I don't know what it is about you, but I always have so much fun talking to you and hanging out with you. Really appreciate you jumping on.
You're very welcome.
And Scott Schaff, I want to thank you as well for jumping in and sharing some wisdom earlier today.
Anytime, buddy.
All right. God bless everybody. Have a wonderful Sunday. Jump in on Sunday Fun Day. That's in your members. Have you started the Sunday Fun Day thread? Can I pull that up, Gregory?
Yeah, I posted it a few minutes ago.
All right. So I'm going to go over and show you where this is happening. If you are not yet a member, if you don't yet have me as a friend on Facebook, this is only, I had to create a new Facebook page because I had too many friends, and I have to be your friend to add you. So I'm going to put a word here. Okay. If you go to, move this over. My computer's having a freak out right now, I think. All this graphic goodness. Okay. If you go to facebook.com/iCaris, you can add me as a friend. Only do this if you're not already my friend. So this is my account where it's a picture of me and my wife in the thumbnail instead of the picture of me with the hat. So if you already have my other account, you don't need to do that. Just say, hey, Mike, add me. You know, you can message me on Facebook and say, hey, Mike, add me to the beginners Facebook group. If you're not my friend already, then add me at facebook.com/Icarus. Add me as a friend, and I'll put you in the beginners Facebook group. Let me show you what this thread looks like. Sunday Fun Day. You go into the OMG Beginners Beginners Acceleration group. Got Brandy's already in there. Daryl's in there. Rose and Thea. Ann's in there. Amber's in there. The girls are rushing it. Guys got to get in there. Cardi's in there, and of course Gregory Ortiz. So jump in there. We've got the Sunday Fun Day thread right here. I'll give it a hashtag Sunday Fun Day. Hashtag boom. Okay. So if you want to get in on this, you can message me, and I'll be adding people in, and have a good time. OMG's a city on a hill. Care about you all very much. I pray for I pray for all of our members every day. Very important to me. I want you to have success. I want you to have everything just be good and dope and awesome in your life. And I'd say I had a fun event today. This is a good time. So jump in on Sunday Fun Day. Whether you're a brand new beginner or you're an ace, and you want to pick up some more wisdom or share some wisdom, jump in on Sunday Fun Day. And it is all happening at OMG. It's the City on a Hill. All right. God bless all of you.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.